Paper chromatography is a simple technique that separates dissolved compounds based on their molecular size and solubility. This technique works particularly well to separate photosynthetic pigments such as chlorophyll, carotene, and xanthophyll. Their bright colors make the finished chromatogram very easy to interpret. Before beginning the procedure, be sure to extinguish all flames and turn off hot plates in your work area. The supplies you'll need include a container of plant extract, a strip of chromatography paper, a supply of chromatography solvent, a test tube and stopper, a 2 milliliter pipette, and a pencil. Examine the container of plant extract. Before you came to lab, your instructor ground some leaves in a blender and filtered the extract through a paper towel. The filtrate is dark green and contains all the cell components that were soluble in acetone, including chlorophylls and a variety of other molecules. Get a strip of chromatography paper from your lab instructor. Handle the paper by its edges. Oil on your fingers will contaminate the paper and will affect your results. Notice that one end of the strip is pointed and the other is straight. Use a pencil to mark a faint line about 2 centimeters above the pointed tip. Be sure to handle the paper by its edges. Drop the paper strip into the empty test tube and put the stopper with its pin hook into the tube. This will help you judge where the paper should be hooked onto the pin, so the pointed end of the strip does not quite touch the bottom of the tube. Take the stopper and strip out and mark where the pin should hook the paper. Use a fine tip brush or a pasteur pipette to paint a strip of plant extract over the pencil mark. Blow the stripe until it's dry. Since you'll need a concentrated sample of extract, you'll want to repeat this 5 or 10 times. If a hairdryer is available, use it to dry the strip. This will speed up the process considerably. A good application of the plant extract will take several minutes, so be patient. Next, pipette about 2 milliliters of chromatography solvent into a test tube. This solvent is a mix of 9 parts petroleum ether and 1 part acetone. Be sure to keep the tube stoppered so the ether and acetone don't evaporate. Hook the paper onto the pin in the tube's stopper. Place the chromatography strip and stopper into the test tube so that the tip is submerged in the solvent. The solvent will slowly move up the chromatography strip. Do not disturb the test tube. After a few minutes, the solvent will approach the top of the strip. At this point, remove the strip from the test tube and use a pencil to mark the position of the solvent front. Set the strip aside to dry. It'll dry in just a minute or two. Note the separate bands of color on the dried strip. These pigments have separated based on their molecular size and solubility in acetone and ether. To quantify your results, measure the distance from the original stripe of pigment to the solvent front, and then from the solvent front to each band of pigment. Calculate the RF value for each pigment with the following formula. Your instructor will talk to you about the significance of RF values. When you finish the separation, dispose of the strip in the chromatography solvent as instructed.